Welcome to the Maelstrom, ladies and gentlemen. We have another Warhammer 40k battle report for you today. 1,850 points. We are giving the ATC missions for 2015 a test run. We have the first mission, which is Vanguard Strike Deployment. The Orks will be in the bottom left corner of the table. The Blood Angels will be in the top right corner of the table. There are 3 objectives. Each one is worth 10 points if you win it, 5 points if you draw it, and if no one contributes to it at all, it is 0 points total. So those are your 3 primaries. Then you have the Slay the Warlord, First Blood, and Linebreaker, which are worth 2 points each but cannot carry you beyond 30. So the first objective is Emperor's Will. We have 4 objectives, not Emperor's Will, progressive objectives. You have 2 objectives there and 2 objectives here. Each of those objectives scores 1 point for each turn that you hold it beyond turn 1. Turn 1 they don't contribute. And at the end of the game, whoever has accumulated the most points wins that. The second objective is the center of the table. It's all about controlling that. And then finally, we have Emperor's Will, which has 1 objective here, the first Big Mech Grot, and the second objective here, the other Big Mech Grot. Whoever controls more of those scores 10 points, and if neither of us score either, that is worth 0 points. So that is the table. We will be right back with armies. First up, we have the Blood Angels, 1,850 points.
So my HQ, my Warlord, is a Chaplain with a jump pack, and he has a Veritas Vitae. For his Blood Angels Warlord trait, he rolled Heroic Bearing, so everyone within 12 inches of him will have the Fearless special rule. And for his Veritas Vitae, he rolled Princeps of Deceit, so on the Orc player's first turn, I'm going to pick 3 units to take a penning check. He has 10 Death Company with him that all have jump packs, and one has a Thunderhammer and a Bolter. Then for my troops choices, I have a 10-man tactical squad with a Veteran Sergeant with a Power Fist and a Combi Flamer, and they have a Heavy Flamer and a Flamer, and they're mounted on a Rhino. Then I have 2 5-man tactical squads. They're identical. They have a Plasma Gun and Melta Bombs on the Sergeant, and they are riding in Las Cannon Twin Link Plasma Gun Razorbacks. Then for my fast attacks, I have 2 identical assault squads, 10 men strong, with 2 Melta Guns and a Veteran Sergeant with a Power Fist leading them. And for my heavy supports, I have 2 identical Bale Predators with Heavy Bolter Sponsons and a Vindicator with a Seed Shield.
Alrighty, so there it is, Blood Angels, 1,850. Wake up, boys! It's time for fighting! We got the Orks back on the table today, working slowly at the mess of plastic. We have a War Boss in Mega Armor with the Lucky Stick, Power Claw, and Combi Shooter, and what else does he have? An Attack Squig. He is my Warlord, and he has like a Thunderbolt. So reroll charge range and run for all the Orks around him. He has 5 Mega Knobs in his battle wagon with him. They have 2 Combi Scorches, and one of the Combi Scorches has a boss pole. It'll be the dude with the Space Marine beaky helmet on his stick. They have a battle wagon. The Shooters have not been remade yet, but they are rocket launches today. Reinforced ram, extra armor, and boarding planks, all to gubbins. We have 15 Tank Busters with 3 Bomb Squigs and a Boss Knob with a Power Claw in a second battle wagon. This one has a kill cannon. I got to dig that out of the box. 2 rocket launches, reinforced ram, and a boarding plank. Got 15 Storm Boys, 10 of the new guys, 5 of the shorties that are still pewter. They have a Boss Knob with a Power Claw and a Boss Pole. A squad of 3 Def Copters with twin rocket launches. And then we have 4 identical truck squads, 12 boys in each truck. The trucks have rocket launches, reinforced rams, and boarding planks. And the boys have sluggers and choppers. Each one is led by a Boss Knob with a pole and a claw. So that's the Orks. You've seen the armies. You've seen the table. We will be back after deployment. Deployment is finished. The Orks did win the role to go first. They are going to go first, assuming that the Blood Angels do not seize here in a moment. Show you the setups. Blood Angels have Razorback and Assault Squad on the flank. An identical setup on the mountainside. The Rhino is holding back as a floating reserve. Armored Spearhead along with the Death Company swinging to the main flank. Orks deployed their Def Copters here and made a scout move to the flank. We've got the trucks and the wagons arrayed across the front line. The gray wagon belongs to the War Boss, and the black wagon belongs to the Tank Busters. Storm Boys are on the flank. So, that is a deployment. The Orks are going first, barring a seize from the Blood Angels. Whoop, missed the table. Stand by. A 4, so they do not. Orks will have the first turn, and we will be back when the DACA has commenced. One small note that I did forget to mention, I went ahead and put a 4th Def Copter in and took the kill cannon off of their wagon. I had forgotten that I can only have 12 boys in that. So the Orks was off to a good start cheating, but the slimy Space Marines caught us. So that small change, Orks going first, we will be back following that carnage. Turn 1 rolls to an end. Did not exactly go to plan for the Orks. We immobilized the boss despite reinforced ram. Moved up to there. We did fail our pinning check for his Princeps of Deceit. Killed one of the Storm Boys with the breaking heads rule. We used their rocket packs in an attempt to run, get spread out up here. Only got a 5 even after the reroll for the War Boss. And killed 6 boys on the reroll. So I've killed 6 of my own models so far. Snap firing rockets here did absolutely nothing, no damage whatsoever. The Def Copters did get good luck here. Rolled 3 hits. All 3 damaged this vehicle. We pinned the squad inside, destroyed that for first blood. But other than that, pretty pooey. We will see how turn 2 goes. It all comes down to what kind of damage the Blood Angels do back. So, that is turn 1 for the Orks. Blood Angels, bottom of the turn, coming up. Well, it turns out the Orks aren't the only ones who brought fail for their first turn. Razorback, in an attempt to match my body count that I inflicted on myself, burned himself and lost a whole point with his plasma gun, firing here. We did jink. We lost 1.5 Def Copters, but we were able to make our morale check. Through all the firepower here, he was able to punch 1.5 out. Bell Predator fired his heavy bolters here to absolutely no effect. Bell Predator fired here with his assault cannon, scored 2 penetrating hits, knocked the weapon off and shook me. The Vindicator round, however, was the true fail of the turn. And landed on this truck, rolled a pin, that is my hull points because I reduced it with ramshackle, so apparently that shell got lost somewhere in my engine. Because it also hit this wagon to no effect, and it hit the War Boss who failed his look out sir, but made his cover save. So apparently that shell was lost in the warp somewhere along the way. Or went overhead and a stiff breeze blew some cardboard plates off of the truck. Either way, my stinky beginnings were matched by his, perhaps even exceeded, but turn 2. Both of our armies have decided now they're going to take this serious. We're actually going to fight. We're going to do this. So we'll see if that promise holds true. Turn 2 coming up. Turn 2 for the Orks has rolled to an end. The boys from the 2 lead trucks jumped out and assaulted the Bell Predators and destroyed them. The Storm Boys ran up the flank of the mountain. We did call the wall this turn so we could charge after running. The battle wagon here backed off out of cover, fired through the gap and destroyed the Vindicator with the Tank Busters. The boss requisitioned a set of wheels from these boys. Him and his guys jumped in the truck, threw the boys out there on the mountainside and started their advance. Down here, we also moved in and attacked. We have 2 Def Copters sitting at 1 wound. 1 boy, they took damage from shooting and Overwatch. The boys charged in, lost 1 boy and knocked down 5 Assault Marines total. The Knob got 2 or 3 of them. They did fail their morale check, but the Orks were able to catch them and hold them in combat. So that is turn 2. Turn 2 for the Blood Angels is coming up. Blood Angels answer with a pretty brutal assault phase of their own. Charge here, wipes out all but 1 bike, who has 1 wound. Leaves, what do we got there? 3 boys and the Knob still alive, but they are beaten to a bloody pulp. He did break some heads and restore order, though, kept them in that fight. The 2 5-man squads joined in there and helped to pummel me. We did get 3 Assault Marines in the process, but lost 6 boys and 3 wounds from the bikes. The other bike is headed for the board edge. The Death Company moved up here and fired. They were able to kill 2 boys and the Knob. I mispositioned him. That was enough to cause a morale check, which they failed and rolled a breaking head, so they took off. The Death Company were just out of range, though, when they rolled their charge. Because of the wrecked vehicle, they were unable to charge those boys. So those boys are in flight as well. Poor Storm Boys got clobbered. He did lose 1 Assault Marine coming over the mountain and lost 2 to the Knob in a challenge, including his sergeant, but he did vanquish all of the Storm Boys. and his Razorback lined up a shot on this truck and cut it in two. So good answer from the Blood Angels. We're at 2-1 on the objectives at the moment, and the Blood Angels have recaptured King of the Hill in the center from me. Turn 3 coming up. That is Orc turn 3. The Blood Angels are going to go ahead and call it there. In this combat, the Nob challenged the last sergeant here. All 3 of his boys were cut down, but he survived the attacks and punched 2 men down. He did pass his morale check and stick in that combat, so that allowed the truck to score this point. These Marines suffered from seriously accurate Orc fire. The Orcs scored hits and killed all of them with rockets. The the tank busters would have done it alone, scored 7 or 8 hits, but the vehicles killed off 2 or 3 more. These boys did not regroup, so they continued to run. The war boss did move up in his truck and move out there, charge into the Death Company, who him and his men were able to cut them down completely. We did lose 1 Mega Nob to the Thunderhammer, but then returned the favor and killed all of the Death Company and the Chaplain. So at that point, the Orcs have Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker, and First Blood. They are also up on the escalating objectives, and the Orcs currently hold the center of the board. So that will be an Orc victory. We will have army lists and after action reviews at the blog as always. Like us on Facebook to see our content when it comes out, and we hope to see you all at the ATC. We will be judging there, so if you guys make it out, give us a hello, let us know that somebody watches these besides us. We appreciate the time you spend at the Maelstrom, and we hope you come back for our next game.